Throughout the alphas and the betas inside of Diablo Immortal, I've grinded every single character class, but now that the game is out, full released, I've fallen in love with, and I knew I was going to, the Barbarian. I've had tons of people asking me how I built my Barbarian, what gear am I using, what skills do I like the best, what gems am I using inside of my equipment. So today I'm giving you a full tour, showing you everything that my Barbarian wears and uses. What is up, my friends? My name is Echo, and I want to first take you guys through the skills that I use on my Barbarian. Actually, we're going to start out with the primary attack. We have the choice of Frenzy or Lacerate. Now, I like Frenzy because it gives you that rage. It starts attacking faster and faster as you attack over time. It seems that we have a little bit less of a reach with our attack, but there's more power associated with it. So that's the one that I've just kind of been using. I really enjoy it, and I think it really drops a lot of DPS. Now, speaking of DPS, that means damage per second. My whole idea here, my whole plan with the Barbarian is to make it drop as much damage as it can as quickly as possible. So through everything that we're looking at in today's build, it's all going to be focused around damage. How much damage can I do? If I have the choice of damage or healing or armor, I'm going to choose damage every single time. Think of it this way. Your Barbarian already has a lot of HP, so I can really throw more damage than I need to have shielding. Especially with some maneuvering, some good techniques, you could really live for a long time utilizing a Barbarian. And the build that I'm using today is primarily used for PvE, player versus environment. PvP, you'd probably want to change up a few things, but that'll be for a later video. So let's start out with Wrath of the Berserker. This, in my opinion, is one of the most important skills. This is going to essentially give your Barbarian a bunch of rage. Essentially, your Barbarian is going to get raged up. He's going to attack 50% faster and move 20% faster for 6.3 seconds. Now, also remember, the gear that you wear will modify these skills. So some of these modifications are really important, others are not. Right now, the Wrath of Berserker now also dispels effects which cause loss of control from your character. That's from the headpiece I'm wearing, which we'll get into in a moment, but honestly, it's not the most important one. Only one of them here is truly detrimental to this build, and that one is Hammer of the Ancients. The initial Hammer of the Ancients is going to be a big hammer that your Barbarian slams down in the ground, crushing everything around it, but that's not the build that I like to use. We need to go ahead and get the Spirit of the Ancients weapon. What this does is it turns the Hammer of the Ancients into a spirit that's going to drop down. I like to call it my guardian. It essentially drops down a golden Barbarian that's going to fight alongside of you, dealing 2,294 damage to all nearby enemies upon arrival and stuns them for 2 seconds, but its cooldown is 24 seconds. In addition to that, the Spirit of the Ancients are going to attack for 15 seconds. So you essentially have a buddy, a partner fighting alongside of you for 15 seconds, doing over 2,000 damage per attack. Now, I've also modified this with another main hand weapon. Hammer of the Ancients is now also electrified, slowing enemy movement by 50% for 2 seconds as well. And then again, something else I'm going to show you later on, Hammer of the Ancients maximum charges are increased by 1. From the chest piece that I'm going to show you in just a little bit. This is huge because now you can get 2 of these spirits, or 2 of these guardians, as I call them, to fight beside you. Not just one, but because of that chest piece, you can get an additional one next to you, which is really powerful. Of course, we're going with Whirlwind. I mean, we're a Barbarian. You have to utilize Whirlwind, and the only thing that changes my Whirlwind are the shoulders that I'm using, which increase the damage by 10%. Whirlwind is the best when you're going into crowds of enemies, when there's more than 1 or 2, and you need to get a bunch of them dropping damage at once. Now, Whirlwind doesn't drop as much damage as the primary attack, but it is a flash damage attack, damaging any enemies that are within the radius. So I really like getting the extra damage. Plus, we have a charm that also adds 2% damage. So initially, we're putting in an extra 12% damage on top of the regular Whirlwind because of our shoulder pieces and because of the charm. And the last skill that I use is Undying Rage. Essentially, what this skill is for is to protect you from death. If your Barbarian is about to die, boom, Undying Rage is going to kick in. You're going to enter a rage for 4.75 seconds that prevents you from dying and causes all your attacks to heal you for 30% of your damage done. It'll automatically activate, so you really don't need to hit this button ever. But you can, if you're feeling confident that the enemies that you're fighting aren't going to take you down and you really want to boost your health up, you can click on that. You're going to be raged up for that 4.5 seconds, and you're going to heal up at the same time. If you want your get out of jail free card, you'll never touch the button. If you want to dominate a little bit more, you'll use that. Now, because this is such a passive button, or a passive skill, I should say, you may want to switch it out for a more aggressive attack or another one of the skills. Now, if it were me, I would probably go in with something like Leap, just so that I could dive on in and out of battle, doing damage as I land. But as you can see, I don't have Leap equipped, and that's because I prefer rocking Undying Rage, at least for right now. But that's a preference thing. You choose what you like better. All right, so let's get into the gear. Starting out with the helmet, we're working with the Berserker's Sanity. Now, I'm gonna put out guides on how to get new equipment and put skills into equipment that don't have those skills. That's for a more advanced upcoming video. But for right now, Berserker's Sanity, the real thing that I like here are the legendary abilities. Wrath of the Berserker now also dispels effects which cause loss of control to your character. So with this, I also have the Battle Guard gem slotted. We're gonna get into those gems in a minute. Next, we're on to the Yadama's Cyclone, which is the shoulder piece that I'm currently wearing. And when you take a look down here, the whirlwind damage increased by 10%. I've had a lot of shoulder pieces. This one so far has been my favorite one. And again, we're gonna get the gems after we get through all the equipment. We have the Rage Caller weapon. And right here, I like the magic. Damage to enemies below 30%, life increased by 10%. I like how that works out. Hammer of the Ancients is now also electrified, slowing down enemy movement by 50% for 2 seconds. Keep in mind, we now have those 2 charges for Hammer of the Ancients, so we could use this twice with each of those spirits or guardians that we drop. So we're really getting a lot of value out of the Hammer of the Ancients skill itself, which I like stacking these skills. I like how it's able to just make them stronger and stronger the more you stack them up. So we have the Guardians, then we have the double Guardians, and now we're electrifying those Guardians with the Rage Caller shoulder piece. I mean, we really are taking Hammer of the Ancients and completely switching up how it works and making it a powerhouse skill in our skill boost. The Remembered is the primary weapon that you really need to have to build this character out, and that's because the Hammer of the Ancients turns into the Spirit of the Ancients. We've been talking about it. This is the piece that's going to make you have the Spirit of the Ancients, or that Guardian. It's essential to get the second Guardian, and it's essential to get them electrified. You need the Remembered. And there's points in the game on the Battle Pass, I believe, where you can choose a weapon early on even. This is the weapon that you're gonna wanna grab, in my opinion, to put together this build. Now, all 4 of those items, the head, the shoulders, and both of your weapons, they are all about damage. Those are the ones that you're gonna wanna put your gems in that focus on damage. Then we have the legs and the chest, and those are more defensive items, defensive set pieces. So you're gonna want to not really put your damage wielding gems inside of these 2. Go with the more passive gems that you decide to use, like I have done. First, we're gonna get into the gear of these 2 pieces and then the gems of all of them. Rock Spike are the legs that we're using. Again, I like that we have strength, right? Strength is gonna be a big part of that. And then we have the Empowered Stomp. It doesn't matter. Honestly, I am putting in the pants that are the strongest with the highest score because I don't use the skill. And all of the skills associated with pants have to do with skills that I don't use. So I'm not gonna really be able to benefit from any of these legendary spots from pants. And that's okay. We have Davin's Legacy. Again, we have more strength boosts right here. Going down to the bottom, this is going to make the Hammer of the Ancients have an extra charge. So instead of 2 hammer strikes, you're gonna get 2 Guardians fighting beside you, which in my opinion is so much more powerful. Again, Davin's Legacy is a huge chess piece that's gonna really make your Hammer of the Ancients build right here be successful. Now, I'm still working on charms, okay? The charms are a work in progress. I actually have another charm that has 2 barbarian skills, but neither one of them are whirlwind, and I value whirlwind the most. So I tried to get one that had the whirlwind 2% damage increase because I think that's important. Whirlwind is a big deal when you're playing this game as the barbarian. But I plan to re-roll these charms and get them all set up so that I have 5 barbarian upgrades inside of 1 charm. Upcoming tutorials on how to do that advanced mechanic coming really soon as well to the channel, so stay tuned for that. But we have secondary gear, and a lot of people don't understand, why am I only getting the set pieces or the green ones for my waist and for my feet, right? When you're in Hell 1, that's when you could start getting these set pieces. In Hell 1, you're only going to be able to unlock the feet and the hips, all right? So that's all you can get. When you get to Hell 2, I believe you'll be able to get these ones, and when you get up to Hell 3, you'll be able to unlock these. So it's enticing progression in the game. Essentially, all I'm doing here is I'm trying to get the pieces that are gonna encourage more strength and that could put the most amount of gems inside of. So notice I got 3 gems in here, 3 gems in here. I'm continuously upgrading these to find the ones that just are going to give me the most power and allow me to get the most amount of damage. Now, look at these sockets right here. Notice we have tourmaline in there. Little preview. I love tourmaline. It's my favorite gem on the secondary side, the normal gems. So with that being said, let's go take a look at some gems. So out of all of my secondary gear, I try and go with gems that are going to offer me damage. Tourmaline is the best. The second favorite would be life, giving me more life. But as I said earlier in the video, I like getting damage over life. If we come on over here, you'll notice all of the different color normal gems. We have topaz, which is going to give us resistance. We have aquamarine, which is going to give us armor. We have tourmaline for damage. We have citrine for potency, aquamarine for armor. We have sapphire for armor penetration, and we have ruby for life. I'm going with tourmaline and ruby anytime that the gear that I'm using will accept those gems. But now we're gonna get to the legendary gems, the ones that really are the most important. Now, of course, there's some legendary gems that you may want that you haven't gotten. You know, you can only run so many Elder Rifts or get so many legendary crests, so sometimes you have to work with what you got. So let's go here and start. Now notice, anything that's in this slot right here, which is one of your passive ones, one of your armor bearing pieces of set pieces, and one of these, they're not going to focus on your damage. So let's start on the ones that do. We're going with Karsa's Invigoration. This is an easy one to upgrade. It's a 1-star gem. I've already gotten it up to rank 5. It increases the speed of your primary attack by 8% and the damage of your primary attack by 1% and a 5% magic fine. So I love that it's just adding damage. Again, we're just adding damage. But that's just a 1-star gem. Let's move on over to Trick Shot gem. Also a 1-shot. I actually started using this one last night. Your channeled skills consume energy 13.5% slower, and you take a 0.5% decreased damage while using them. This is going to enable you to whirlwind longer and to use your Spirit of the Ancients longer as well. Those guardians are going to be hanging out beside you for longer now, and you're going to take less damage while they're out, which is great on 2 sources and 2 ways of looking at it. We have the Power and Command gem. I'm on the fence with this one right now. Power and Command alternates between every 9 seconds. Power increases your primary damage by 10.5%. Command increases your skill damage by 10.5%. I like it. I'm not in love with it, but I do like that it's going to be increasing the damage both of your skills and your primary attack. You can't really tell. It's hard to tell when it's going back and forth, although it does show on the screen. It's very hard to keep up with that while you're in battle. It's a good one. It's a 2-star, which means it's more difficult to upgrade in the long run. If you're someone that wants to be free to play, I would suggest going all 1-star gems so you can max them out, and it's not gonna cost you any money or much at all. Then we're gonna go on to the Battle Guard gem. This one will most likely be replaced in the future. I have a few in my head that I'm looking for. When I get those gems, I'll update this video. But for right now, this is going to decrease all melee damage you take by 10.5% from enemies within 3 yards. Additionally, while your health is below 15%, you can move unhindered through enemies. You see what I'm saying here? This does not affect the damage you output. It more protects you in a passive way. So not in love. We have the Berserker's Eye. Increases all damage you deal by 8% and increases the critical hit chance by 0.5%, but also increases all the damage you take by 5%. So you're going to deal more damage, but you're going to take more damage as well. It is a great gem though. 2 must-haves, in my opinion, are going to be Trick Shot and Berserker's Eye right here. And then we have one of the best gems in the game. I have a 3-star of 5 stars, Phoenix Ashes. This one prevents fatal damage and then grants a shield for 6 seconds that absorbs damage equal to 450% of your base damage. Cannot occur more often than once every 180 seconds. And the more you upgrade this, I mean, this isn't even upgraded at all, and it's still a great gem. The issue with 5-star gems are they take a lot of gems to upgrade, and you need to get many more of this gem. And hundreds of other gems to put into this gem in addition to more of these gems to upgrade them, which can either take a lot of time or be very costly for you if you decide to just continuously buy legendary crests to get there. Now remember guys, if you're struggling to get yourself gems, you can get them from utilizing your runes. You can get these throughout the game many different ways. Again, another guide will come out on that, but you can craft different gems that you want. So notice I have enough runes to craft many of these gems. None of them I really wanted to craft right now, but I do have the runes available to do it in time, kind of waiting to see what I'm gonna need, where I'm gonna need it, whether I'm gonna get myself some 1-star gems that I could quickly use and just get something upgraded, use them as food for my better gems, or if I'm gonna find the gem that I actually want to use inside of here. But just a quick side tip is make sure you use your runes. You essentially have free legendary gems here waiting for you to use. Everyone seems to forget that. And remember, you get your combat rating or your offensive defensive rating from doing all these upgrades, from upgrading your gear, upgrading your gems, and essentially progressing through the game. If you want to do that, you're going to click on attributes and more attributes, and you're going to be able to see your combat rating. As you can see, my combat rating as it sits right now is 916. If you want to know what this means, if we think of the Heliquary, to take on LaSalle at level 1, you need a combat rating of 420 or more. To take on LaSalle at level 2, you need, I think it was a 1200 combat rating. I'm not there yet. Right now, I would be one-shotted by LaSalle, so I'm still grinding to be able to prepare for that battle. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you think of my Barbarian build in the comments section below, and let me know how you would modify it to fit your needs. Remember to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell for regular Diablo Immortal videos. Have a great day, guys, and be good.